What's up, guys? Good morning, Joe. Your caffeine. Cheers. I moved the camera. Mainly, I want to be able to have like the mic closer to my mouth, right? But when I had it like in front of here, it was like basically the mic would block my face, and I didn't like that. So now I can like talk more directly, so I can have a clearer audio. And I actually do like this angle, right? So basically, something I want to talk about is basically peripherals and hardware and shit like that, right? I brought it up before. At the moment, my mouse that I'm using is the Corsair Scimitar, right? It's a good mouse. And I have a Corsair keyboard, which is the K95 Platinum, right? A good RGB mechanical keyboard, right? Now, for like the longest time, I had like a regular standard keyboard, like the shit that you get off fucking like, I don't know, Walmart for $10. I didn't care about mechanical keyboards, right? But once you start messing around with mechanical keyboards, you feel the difference. There's no way you can go back, right? That's for sure. Same thing with mouses, right? I didn't understand the difference between, what I have now versus, the $5 mouse that you get at a fucking bin at a checkout store, when you're paying your groceries, that kind of shit. Now, after a while of you messing around with this stuff, there is a massive improvement in your work ability when it comes to like, the hardware, right? But something that's just as important that comes along with the hardware is the software itself, right? Now, I mess around with Logitech, I mess around with Rocat, I messed around with Cooler Master hardware, and of course I'm messing around with the Corsair software, right? Each one of these companies, they have their own software that kind of goes along with their peripherals, right? In my case, the thing that I care about the most is basically the ability to create macros, right? Now, for like the longest time, I was using the Rocat Nith mouse. I started to learn to use macros more using that mouse, right? I was experimenting, messing around with macros, right? So I was messing around with the Rocket Nith mouse, right? But the thing is, it got discontinued, right? And I don't know, I got to the point where it's like, I asked Paul if he's able to give me this mouse, because if my Rocket Nith was to take a shit, then I'll be fucked, because, I won't be able to replace that mouse, right? So Paul was able to give me this mouse, the Scimitar, right? This mouse actually is really good. It took some getting used to, because this mouse, compared to like the Rocket Nith, it is smaller, right? The Rocket Nith is pretty massive, right? This is their Corsair Iq software. The very, very first versions of this software did not look like this. That was very bulky, and I don't know how to explain it, right? But now, yeah, you are able to like do your hardware lighting and all that shit, but I don't care about that crap. Basically, what I like about this keyboard is the ability to you're able to create multiple profiles. I got my gaming profile here, but also like I have like 3 profiles I'm using at the moment. In each profile, you're able to like select a macro for each individual key, right? Which I think is pretty cool. So instead of like the A being the A key, you can assign it to be a macro, right? Which is what I do, right? All right, so basically this is my main profile, right? I got like I have multiple profiles using this software. Now the cool thing is, like, I have a standard desktop profile, which is just, has no macros, right? But when I start to mess around with Premiere Pro, as you can see, it completely changes, right? So basically I have like the keys divided by sections using like color key, using my lighting effects, right? So basically where my left hand is at, I have like certain hotkeys that I prefer to use, and these are like secondary, and these are like my hard to reach keys, and then so on and so forth, right? Being able to divide the keyboard with the colors, it helps me to visually have a representation of where the keys are at. It's just something that I like to do, right? The cool thing is, like with my mouse, if you go to the key assignment, I have profile switchers using these 2 keys here on the top, right? Now at the moment I have like as I can say, I have like 3 profiles. This is like the main one, right? So basically what I do is, like, basically in these keys right here, I got 2 profile switchers, right? That's the cool thing about this mouse. So if I was to push the top one here, so if I was to push the top profile switcher here and I hold it, that switches to another profile, right? There's a second key down here in the bottom. If I press that switches to another profile, right? So basically what I'm doing in this situation is that, so say the key assignments, right? So with the key assignments for my main Premiere Pro profile, I mainly have these guys here that are white. These have macros selected to them, right? But as you can see here, the rest of the keyboard is pretty much like standard, right? Nothing's changed. But when I switch to profiles, see how these keys turn white? That means there's a profile that's assigned to those keys, right? So instead of being like the standard keyboard, they turn into a macro. So when I switch to my second profile, those white keys it's like almost having like another keyboard, right? So we have different like assignments assigned to those keys, right? If I hit like the second profile on my mouse, see it's a completely different profile now, which has like different macros assigned to those keys where my left hand area is at. Yeah, so I mentioned it before about like having all the keys set up here to like the left hand side. So that's basically what I'm doing, right? When I switch to profiles, this side of the keys, they turn to like a different like set of macros, right? When I go to my third profile, same thing. There's like a completely different like profile macro set up to where my left hand side is at. And that's the cool thing about having a combination with when you pick your hardware, you want to have something that, you know, they share the same software. In my case, Corsair, right? I'm using the Corsair mouse and the Corsair keyboard. And these two combined, I'm able to like assign like the macros or any kind of like key assignments that I want using the IQ software, right? The point of me making this video is that like when you start to like advance your overall workstation, I think that's something that you want to keep in mind is basically your overall peripherals that you use, the hardware that you use, they come with software, right? And it's something I guess you may not think about, but once you start messing around with your software more to create your macros or your shortcuts and all that, having a software that works well with your peripherals is definitely a plus, right? You know, they do go hand in hand. Having a good product, say like a Corsair mouse, having a good software to go along with this is very beneficial, right? So I guess that's something I want to like bring up is basically when you start to like expand your workstation and you want to like, you know, create shortcuts and all that crap to go along with your keyboard or your mouse, definitely keep in mind how good the software is itself, right? So before you buy a new keyboard or new mouse, maybe also do some search, some reviews about like the software itself, right? So Corsair is good in that sense in regards to having, yeah, you have cool products, sure. You know, like you say, I got like my good mouse and a keyboard, but I really prefer having a shady keyboard and a shady mouse, but has a good software that works very well, right? But in this case, you know, I have the best of both worlds. I got a good hardware, you know, the keyboard and my mouse, and I got a very good software, right? So anyways, that's all I have for you. If the video helped you out, there'll be a link. There'll be some QR codes if you want to help me buy a coffee. If you guys can't, no problem. I'll continue making these videos because I enjoy sharing what I know. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll talk to you later. Take care and peace.